Hey, what's up you guys, it's Connor, and today I'm going to be doing a book review on The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. So basically, The Knife of Never Letting Go is the first book in the Chaos Walking trilogy, and it follows our main character Todd Hewitt as he is on the cusp of turning 14/13 because they have a weird month and year calendar. And he lives in a town of all men, and they can hear everyone else's thoughts, so no one has any secrets. And then one day, he's traveling through the swamp where he finds an area where he can't hear any noise coming from it, and then the adventure ensues from there. And that's basically the premise. It is a YA fantasy / science fiction novel because it's weird to... I don't know if it's science fiction or fantasy yet. It still hasn't decided what it wants to be. I think it's mainly science fiction though. So as usual, I'm going to go through my pros and then my cons, and then I will give you my rating and talk a little bit about how I felt while reading it, and then be done. So the first pro is that I really enjoyed the idea of this novel. I really liked how everyone could hear everyone else's thoughts. I thought that was a really interesting idea that I haven't read before in any novel, not just YA or anything like that. And I thought this concept of the new world was really well done, and I appreciated learning everything about this world. And so that just tumbles into really appreciating and liking the world building that we got in this novel. There's not a whole lot. You really only get the bare bones minimum of the world. There's a lot of room to grow and expand the world and flesh it out some more, but with what we got, I really liked it so far. Also with the world building, I really liked the details that he put in. So there's different towns and different cultures for each town, and there's different dialects, so each people that you meet talks differently. So I really liked that he did that because I think that that's very realistic, that all these different towns that are separated from each other would eventually start to diverge in the way that they're speaking, the words that they use for certain things. So I really like that that was included. I thought that was really well done. This book also being hard to tell if it's fantasy or science fiction. It's kind of hard to tell if it's just young adult or middle grade. It's kind of like a mix in between middle grade and adult, where he's just on the cusp of both of those age groups, because most middle grade is like 11, 12, 13-year-olds, and then young adult is like 16, 17, but this book, the main character is 14, so he kind of has both things going on. He finds out that he's meant for something more, but he also kind of has some love interests, so it's kind of the middle ground between middle grade and young adult. I also really liked the writing style. It's something to get used to because it's definitely different. It's definitely something that I haven't read before, and it took me a little while to get used to it. It's kind of a continuous stream of consciousness, and you hear a lot of Todd's inner monologue, and you get a lot of his thoughts, and he has no filter, and it just keeps going. And so that's something that you have to get used to. But once I got used to it, I really ended up enjoying it. So I really liked the writing. It was really well done. I loved it while I was reading it, and so yeah. Now on to some of the cons. So besides a character named Manchi, who is the best, I loved that character, I didn't really care about the two main characters, the main female lead and Todd Hewitt. I found them hard to connect with, and I thought Todd was just really annoying for most of the book. So yeah, didn't really care about the main two characters, but Manchi I love that character. He was awesome. Also a con, I didn't really like the pacing of the book. I felt like something big would happen, and then we would spend a lot of time just running. The characters run a lot. There's a lot of running, and every 2 seconds they're running, and just running and running and running. It's like they are the craziest cross-country runners I have ever seen in my entire life. They are running all the time. I think the main thing that hurt this novel for me, though, besides not really liking the main character, is that the last 100 pages, I did not really like the direction that the story was heading, and I didn't really like that the narrative brings up a lot of new things. Like, there's a lot of new threads started, but there's not many threads finished. Like, you don't get a lot of satisfaction by finishing the book. I think with series that each book should be at least somewhat self-contained, and that there should be some miniature arc that's completed within each book. That's the whole point of the book being this one book instead of there being like a big massive book. So I didn't like the fact that there wasn't really something resolved, if that makes sense. Like, there wasn't a satisfying end in this book, so yeah, that definitely hurt it. So overall, I had kind of a hard time rating this because I really did like the world building and the writing and the idea, but I didn't like the characters or the direction of the story or how it ended. So I ended up giving this book a 3.5 stars out of 5 stars because I did find a lot of merit in it and a lot of qualities that I did like, but there was a fair number of things that I just was not the biggest fan of. So that is my review of The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up and comment down below if you've read this book, what you liked about it. I know it seems like I review a lot of books that I give 3.5 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars to, but I feel like those books are just easier for me to review because I can do my pros and cons. When I do 5-star books, it's just me gushing, so I don't feel like it's as helpful to people, so sorry about that. I'll try to do more reviews on the books that I absolutely love in the future, but other than that, I'm gonna go, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye!